fact that 64 years ago, an eerily similar plane crash happened just like the one Wednesday in DC, which ended the lives of the entire US figure skating team, is genuinely so horrifying and heartbreaking. On February 15th, 1961, 72 people were killed on Sabena Flight 548 after the Boeing plane they were on crashed while trying to land at the Brussels airport in Belgium. The crash killed all 18 members of the US figure skating team who were on their way to the 1961 World Figure Skating Championships. Also killed in the crash were 16 judges in the competition, as well as family members of the skaters. What's really strange though is that shortly after the plane crash on Wednesday in DC, which also just so happened to be carrying 14 members of the figure skating community, the Brussels airport in Belgium, which was the site of the 1961 plane crash, experienced a technical glitch. Brussels airport confirmed that this glitch made it to where no planes were allowed to fly in Belgium. It was that serious. After investigating, it was found that the glitch at the airport was due to the failure of the main radar of the Air Traffic Safety Control Center. But it's insane to me that this exact airport that experienced a horrific plane crash in 1961, where the entire US figure skating team perished, had a glitch shortly after the DC crash, which killed 14 figure skaters. It's absolutely devastating, but it did make me look more into the 1961 crash, and this is what I found. So on February 15th, 1961, the Boeing plane carrying 72 people took off from the Idlewild Airport in New York City, and they were supposed to be flying into Brussels Airport in Belgium for the World Figure Skating Championships. No difficulties were reported during the 8-hour flight, and it seemed like everything was totally normal. But about 20 minutes before trying to land on the runway, the flight crew lost all radio contact with Brussels Airport. As Flight 548 was trying to land, the pilots saw a small plane still on the runway, so they had to cancel their approach. They ended up circling the airport 3 times in total while waiting for the small plane to move in order to descend onto the runway. But during the last trip around the airport, something malfunctioned. The pilots were then seen fighting for control of the plane, and after it climbed about 1,500 feet, it spiraled, essentially nosediving straight into the ground. This caused the plane to explode on impact, killing all 72 people aboard and 1 person who was on the ground, and all of this took place less than 2 miles from Brussels Airport. The exact cause of the crash has never been determined, but the FAA stated that the most likely cause was that the tail stabilizer adjusting mechanism had failed, and like I said, all 18 members of the figure skating team, as well as 16 judges and their family members, had all perished, along with the rest of the people on the flight. This included 11 crew members and 2 pilots, who were both former military pilots. What's crazy is that the organizers of the World Figure Skating Championships were initially going to continue with the event, despite the entire US team being killed along with some of the judges. But after hosting a poll, voters elected to cancel the event, which I'm thankful they did because that would have been outrageous to continue after something like that. The Sabena Flight 548 disaster ended up prompting US figure skating executives to issue a mandate that still exists today. It says that no team traveling to an international competition is permitted to fly together. The news of this recent plane crash in DC that took the lives of 14 young figure skaters has brought back horrible memories for the figure skating community, and it's giving them a disturbing sense of deja vu. On Wednesday night, 67 people died after the flight they were on, which was an American Airlines flight, collided with an Army helicopter in Washington, D.C. It was a flight from Wichita, Kansas, and it was carrying 14 members of the figure skating community and their families returning home from a training camp. This crash happened over the Potomac River in D.C., and as of today, roughly 40 bodies have been pulled from the river and recovered. Last night, it was reported that investigators recovered 2 black boxes from the plane, which they're hoping will provide more clues as to what happened, because as of right now, the cause of the crash is still unclear. When something like this happens, it's more devastating than anyone can put into words, because you not only lose an entire generation of future Olympians in a split second, but when you lose coaches like this, you lose the future of the sport too. And members of the community still talk about what happened in 1961, so for it to happen again is just unthinkable. I can't stop thinking about the fact that they were 20 minutes away from landing. Literally 20 minutes. It's crazy to think that in the blink of an eye, their life on Earth just ended so suddenly. I just hope that it was instant for them and that they didn't even know what was happening. Our life is so incredibly temporary, and this is a devastating reminder of that.